Hey all, we're working on a challenge in the advanced problems here. This one's asking us convert a list to an object. Specifically, we're going to convert a list to a dictionary. This is asking us to write a function called transform employee data. It gives us this data in the form of some nested lists. It looks like I have a list of what could be employees, and each employee is also in a list where we have some nested lists that are tuples, where it's sort of a field name and a piece of data. So first name is Joe, last name is Blow, age is 42, role is clerk, etc., etc. We also have Mary here. We want to make sure that we write this function in a way that will be effective for a list of any size, right? Whether there's 5 employees, 20 employees, we want this function to work appropriately. And what it's telling us is that we want to actually return a list full of dictionary objects. And each dictionary object turns those sort of paired items, the field name and the piece of data, into a dictionary key and a value, respectively. This is pretty common. This is similar to a JSON object. This is something that you're going to encounter somewhat regularly. The first thing that we're going to need to do, though, is I need to actually define my function. And it did say that I'm just going to take in one list, and I'm going to say we're just going to call that list employee data. And we did see that it wants us to return a list in the end, so I know I'm going to have to instantiate an empty list. In this case, I'll just call it result. Now, here I am actually going to iterate through my list that's taken in as a parameter. That's this sort of nested list situation that's described up here. And I'm going to iterate through that list. And each time I iterate through that list, right, I'm actually going to call this imp, short for employee. Each time that we iterate through that list, right, we're going to make a dictionary that represents one specific employee. So as I iterate through this first level of the nested lists, which contains all of the paired data for the different fields, I am going to instantiate an empty dictionary. And then I have a bunch of pairs. So I'm going to say for pairs, for pair in, and here, right, I'm going to call this pairs, right, because it is a group of pairs. And then for each pair in my pairs, as I iterate through, what I want to do is I want to assign a key and a value of my dictionary. Now, the key, when I'm talking about a single pair here, where an example is first name as the first object in the list, Joe is the second object. So I'm going to take pair at index 0 and assign that to be a key in my dictionary. That's what we want. And then I'm going to take the second item in the pair, that is the actual data, Joe, for this one that we're talking about, and assign that to a value. Now, once I've done that for each employee, it's important for me to actually, right, for pair in pairs will take care of all of these paired lists, put them into the dictionary, right? But then I need to add my dictionary onto my final list. So I can just result.append, and I will, I got some unmatched variable names here. I want that employee to be to my list. And then once we've gone through all of that iteration, I will actually return the result. So, right, so we instantiated the empty list. We know we're returning a list, so that's a good starting point. We iterate through the first level, which is each employee's data as a whole. And then once we're in each employee's data, we iterate through all the pairs with the field name and the first name, assigning those into a dictionary, then appending that dictionary to our list that we'll be returning. once we've covered all of the employees from the nested list, we'll just go ahead and return that list full of employees, now in the form of a dictionary data type. Go ahead and give this a run, just double check, and we can see that that does work correctly.